Hypixel has its range of early mid-game weapons, so I'm going to be showing you the best weapons that you should buy. We cover things like usability, dungeon damage, normal damage, stats, price, and a bunch more stuff. If you do enjoy these kind of videos, or maybe you find my channel interesting, please subscribe. But for now, let's get right into it. Now the weapons I'm going to be comparing are the Liver Dagger, Flower of Truth, and the ATD. But before you start going in the comments, I'm not going to say that the Liver Dagger is best like pretty much every other video. So make sure to watch till the end because you might actually get surprised on what is the best weapon for the early mid game. First off, let's do the most basic thing, damage testing these weapons. For this, I'm going to be using Ancient 3/4 status and armor with a Zombie Knight chestplate, as it's probably the most generic mid-game armor set. Along with that, all my weapons are reforged spicy, have 5 stars, and also have hot potato books. So with my Flower of Truth, which costs 3.6 mil, I do 45,000 damage. My AOTD, which costs around 700k, I do 45,400 damage, so a bit more than the Flower of Truth, pretty much the same. And with the Liver Dagger, which costs 7 million from the front, I do 48,000 damage, and from the back it's just pretty much double that, so nearly 100k. Alright, seeing that the damage difference between the Flower of Truth, Liver Dagger, and AOTD even in dungeons and outside of dungeons is practically non-existent, let's talk about the usability of each of these weapons. It's quite well known that the Flower of Truth, because of its ability, is amazing for farming for slayers and clearing dungeon rooms. The Liver Dagger is the best for mini bosses and bosses because of its 100 attack speed and pretty decent damage stats. And the AOTD is just a pretty generally good weapon if you can't afford the Liver Dagger or the Flower of Truth. But what if it can be practically the same in DPS while being nearly 6 million coins cheaper? Because let's be real, the only reason that a Liver Dagger costs 7 million coins is because of its 100 attack speed. But I found out that after reforging about 15 uncommons and around 5 epic accessories, putting your AOTD or Flower of Truth to spicy, and giving your pet a Tiger Crochet plushie, as you can see, even while holding my Flower of Truth and my AOTD, I can get 100 attack speed, no problem, and I only spent around 500k for this. Now this just makes the Flower of Truth an amazing weapon. Not only can it farm mobs extremely efficiently, because of its 100 attack speed, it can do a ton more DPS. So now that you can get 100 attack speed with the other 2 weapons as well, why would anyone buy the Liver Dagger? Well, One for All. Yeah, One for All is honestly a really common enchant on the Liver Dagger because it increases its damage stat by 210%, which is honestly insane. However, what most people don't realize is that the AOTD actually has a bigger damage stat than a Liver Dagger. So we're going to be doing a One for All damage test. Time to waste another 20 million coins. Because I mean, it's not like One for All prices are rising at all. No, I mean, it's getting a nerve. They're gonna be really down at like maybe 9 mil, maybe, yep. Consume it. Why? Why does it cost 20 mil per? After selling about 3.5 kidneys, I've been able to afford these 2 One for All weapons. Before we get into damage test, let's just see how much these weapons cost. The Liver Dagger cost me around 27 mil, and this came 5 star. Meanwhile, the Aspect of the Dragons cost me 19 million coins, with an extra 2 million coins to 5 star it. So the damage the Liver Dagger does is 74,401. Meanwhile, the AOTD does 77,408. So the AOTD does another 4,000 damage, and although it's really hard to tell in dungeons, it was the same result. The Aspect of the Dragons did around consistently 15,000 more damage than the Liver Dagger. So the question is, what really is the best weapon? By now it's probably gotten really confusing on what you should buy, so let me do a quick summary. If you want a generally good weapon for DPS and farming, get a FOD, with accessories reforged for attack speed. And if you don't have too many coins to spare, you can buy an AOTD as it does pretty much the same amount of damage. You're going to be missing out on the Flower of Truth's ability, but the AOTD does have its own ability for farming mobs in masses. And if you're planning to buy a One for All weapon, I would personally go for the spicy Aspect of the Dragons. Not only is it like nearly 7 million coins cheaper than the Liver Dagger, but it also does a slightly more amount of damage. Now the only real reason I would go for the Liver Dagger is, one, if you don't want to lock your pet's item to a Tiger Crochet plushie, maybe put something like a shell mount on it. or if for some reason you're worried about not having 100 crit chance even with a 40 million coin setup. And maybe the last reason you may want to get a little bit dagger is if for some reason you already have a Shadow Fury, and if you do, why are you watching this video? Because the Shadow Fury's ability is actually really helpful, and it can only backstab 5 different mobs, which basically doubles your damage for a short amount of time. Now, I hope you enjoyed this video. It was a slightly longer one, so if you didn't manage to sit through it, please subscribe. But for now, that'll be it for me. See ya.